Okay, so we're going to have a look at a technique now that's an additional one to the ones that are in your manual, and this is rocking. It's quite a simple technique, and I use it a lot on the back and the hips area. So it's great for sort of palpation and mobilisation of the back. Charlotte, do you want to elaborate a bit?
Yeah, so alongside the mobilisation of the soft tissues, it's really useful to sort of get some of the smaller joints to open up, especially where they've started to stick. So by mobilising those soft tissues, often you can start to decompress some of the joints, allow a little bit more movement, which is really nice. It can also start to increase blood flow to the area, particularly where you get a lot of movement going. So that can be really nice. Also used as a stretching technique a little bit, especially on the back, which will again help to start to loosen up, lengthen some of those soft tissues where required. And it can be really useful for sort of targeting areas that can actually be quite difficult to stretch. So if you're struggling to do a passive stretch somewhere, perhaps look at rocking as an alternative.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Actually, I do use it quite a lot for that.
Yeah.
The other thing that it can be really good for is having to relax a client who's really tense and tight. So like you'd use your shaking to try and get a joint to release, you can use rocking exactly the same way, and it's all about the tempo with this one. So to relax, you just a slightly slower tempo, and to get things moving, a slightly quicker tempo. But it's really, really, really important that you keep your tempo even, which is always easier said than done.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it can be quite difficult to execute. So do just take your time to build up. Make sure you give this one plenty of practice. It's unlike shaking though, it isn't a problem to do when your client is larger. So if you've got someone perhaps that you're struggling to lift a limb to do shaking, so you think that might be what you need to do, rocking might be a really good alternative to that. So have it in your toolkit for that.
Definitely. One just proviso here to be really careful. Obviously at the moment you won't be treating anyone with severe back problems, but this one is not a good one for that, especially if they've got facet joint issues going on. It will actually irritate it and potentially make it worse, so be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. Really be aware of that one. So when can you use it in your massage? So you can use it at the end or at the beginning. So often if you're going to use it as a palpation tool, you can measure how much movement you've got effectively at the beginning, and then you can use it to reassess at the end. So that can be really useful, but integrate it into your treatment. Obviously, if required, use a towel for a bit of extra support on the body if you've got lotion on, but you integrate it into the treatment. It can also be really nice to break up if you're doing some really heavy work.
Definitely. I was going to interject that, but you beat me to it. So and I do quite often get halfway through a treatment, pull the towel back up, and then just test where I am with things, and then carry on working again. It's a really, really good way of doing things. So should we have a look at the video and see what we've got in the way of techniques for you?
Yeah, several varieties, so we'll have a look at the videos.
Cool.